Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Today I want to do another video response to Sameoldji because I've been watching more of his videos. Actually, not watching. I'm usually like in my car driving. I've really enjoyed his content. I've enjoyed his take on a lot of stuff. And so there's a few videos. Let me make sure I'm saying the right ones here. Let's see. There's layers of fun. There's the depth of an RPG, and there's regarding dumbed down, which was the original video by Thulian perspective. And so I'm not gonna, just was a theme in these videos that kept popping up, and I was thinking, well, this is, something that had me thinking. And I enjoy, checking out his perspective, perspective of other people. But it's funny because sometimes he'll say something, and my immediate knee-jerk reaction will be like, "That's not right," But I've learned, over time in my old age, through a trial and error and much pain, that contempt prior to investigation is not a good thing. And there's a lot of value in other people's perspectives, opinions, and experiences. So. We agree on a lot of stuff, and we disagree on some stuff, but I wanted to give some of my reaction and perspective. It's not an argument video at all. But it's funny because a lot of this kind of reminds me of the topic I talked about in my first video I ever made when I was kind of making a rebuttal video to Tetsubo 57. I could distill that video down, which was like 14 minutes long, and it was ridiculous, but down to like basically for James, Tetsubo 57, he's a Pathfinder fan. What wasn't fun for him is to stop his game and look up and make up a ruling on the spot because the game didn't have a rule. It wasn't fun. For me, it's not fun to stop my game because I have to look up a rule because there's so many freaking rules. So like Sameoldji, he said it differently, but I think we're going for the same thing. He talked about like wanting this feel, trying to get to this feel, trying to get to this fun, this experience. We both have a clear picture in our heads of where we want to go. Now it's a matter of like what is going to get me there. What's the best vehicle? So we talked about liking some complicated games, liking a lot of systems, a lot of subsystems, very granular, very precise resolution, and that to him helped him, get to the genre, the theme, the feel that worked for him, and to him that provided a depth in RPGs. So where it wasn't just like a silly game, where it really wasn't wasn't doing it for him. To me, there's nothing wrong with a complicated game. The biggest reason that there's something wrong for me is, my time's not my own. I don't want to have to go learn a bunch of rules, not for the sake just because I don't want to, like I'm being petulant, but sometimes it's just a lot. And is that going to get me where I want to go, or something else going to get me where I want to go just as good? Maybe it won't, maybe it will. There's games that are super simple that I'm like, I play, they're kind of fun, for every once in a while, but I don't think I want to play them all the time because they're definitely not. Complicated enough. they don't do enough of it. But there's other games, that do. There's still rules light because it's no surprise that I like rules light. My Blitzkrieg history in the hobby was like, I started with like Moldvay Basic, really simple game, D&D, and then instantly like graduated. I guess I thought I was graduating to Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, this giant game. It was clunky. It's not a cohesive system, but it's what it started the hobby, for crying out loud. So I'll never say anything bad about it. But and then over time, I thought, and we had all these Dragon magazines, all these extra rules. We thought we were kind of like simulating and emulating everything, and but it got overwhelming and clunky and crazy and collapsed upon itself. And so I tried games like D20 Pathfinder. It was too complicated for me because it didn't get me where I wanted to go. I wasn't getting that depth of experience. The layers of fun. I found for me the layer of fun was, where I had the most fun was when I'm connecting, when we're all gelling as a group, and all of a sudden we become immersed. I didn't think of it as immersed at the time, but we're into it. We kind of know what our purpose and theme is. We finally gotten with a genre. And that may take several sessions to happen. Sameoldji definitely talked about games where the rules kind of almost instantly give you fun. He talked about, I think, guaranteed fun, and I get it. His time's not his own either. But he talked about that other method where it takes some time and you have to go through some growing pains, where the sessions may be a little boring, and then all of a sudden the group just kind of congeals, and it's on. Not guaranteed fun, but it's on. And so, for me, that gets me where I want to go. As far as the size of the games I like now, definitely something like, Lamentations is really rules light. And so it's back to that, whole like Moldvay Basic size game, taking some of the weird parts out. But I'm really digging things like the Ubiquity powered games, which still, like he mentioned, are kind of like this unified system. He's not sure. he'd really dig, because there's not a rule for everything, and it's the same mechanic all the time. And I get that, but I tell you what, there's some depth in like just in the Desolation game that I own, and I'm waiting for some other games. The magic system in there, it's sick. That is very cool. The way yeah, there's different kinds of magic, and there's different levels of complexity, but you figure out what do you want to do, and what is this? What magical effect am I looking for? And so there is definitely a way to get to that feeling in this game and have a real depth of experience. So yeah, and I get the whole sentiment that like sometimes like an RPG that's too simple is kind of dumbed down, but it depends on like what you want it for. You want it for like a little one-shot kind of experience. I don't think I'd play Fudge all the time. Not at all. But it was kind of fun just for a little a fun little game, something like Swords and Six-Siders too. Yeah, I wouldn't want to play it all the time either, but it's just kind of a fun, neat little game. And there's some other games I played recently, but they're not what I'd want to use for a campaign. There's other games I'd want to do that. But I don't know, but I think we both, at the end of the day, we both have the same goal in mind. We want to get to that point, that point where we're immersed, where like we have that feeling, like everything, things are firing on all cylinders for us, and we are immersed in the game. The other players, are there with us, and it's on. I guess is the best way I could describe it. So we're both looking for the same thing. It's just a matter of like what vehicle gets us there. So I appreciate the videos. I appreciate kind of having my thinking challenge and just kind of stretching a little bit my brain a little bit and kind of like wrap my head around somebody else's perspectives and kind of figuring out my own a little bit more. So I recommend you check his videos out. His channel is pretty cool, and I guess that's all for me. So I will talk to you soon, and have a good one. Well, I screwed that last run up, but what song is that?